So let's talk about it. And it happened. We have to accept that reality is what it is now. Let's talk about it. So first thing I wanted to say is, I have some notes here. I figured there's so much to talk about with this game. I need some notes because if I just try to do it like this, I'm going to forget something. First thing I actually want to say is, I legit had a dream that we lost this game a few weeks back, and now here we are. I know it's just a movie, but it kind of reminds me of, Tony Stark had a vision that the Avengers would lose in at some point, and then they lost in Infinity War. So it's kind of like that, except this isn't people dying. This is just a football game, but one's a movie, neither one is life or death. Well, it's life or death in the movie, but still, you know what I mean. Let's see. Okay, so first bullet point I have here is that the stadium looked half empty by halftime. I mean, I looked at the attendance. It said about 85,000. It was probably more like 75,000 if we're being honest here. That's one thing I noticed. As soon as the broadcast came on, I said to Mom, I was like, ugh. It doesn't look like there's many people there. There was not that many people there at all. I mean, it was... That's what us fans, we can take some blame for this game too, because we didn't show up at all. That crowd was dead the whole game too. The fans that were there deserve some blame too, because they didn't get into the game at all. That crowd was dead from snap to the loudest it was the whole game was that play that Wood Anderson had down the sideline after we recovered that fumble in the third quarter. But other than that, the crowd was dead the whole game, and it was just. By the way, I'm gonna try to keep this video under 10 minutes, but I probably won't. But oh well. But yeah, anyway. But the loudest the stadium was the whole game was when Wood Anderson went down the sideline after that fumble. But the loudest it was the whole game, and then you just settle for a field goal, and then they come right back down the field and score. So it didn't really do much of anything, unfortunately. But the crowd was dead the whole game. That's really something that we needed to, we didn't have a home field advantage today at all. Hopefully that changes next week. Not that next week really matters anymore. Well, it does. Next week matters even more now, actually. It's one thing I want to... Next week becomes the national championship for us. Now, if we don't win next week, you can forget about everything. Next week's the national championship now. If we don't win next week, we might go 4-8 again, and Pruitt might get fired. I would not be opposed to firing him if that happens next week. Players looked unmotivated. They just did not look like they wanted to be. They looked like they wanted to be anywhere but in that stadium today. They didn't look like they wanted to win. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. They just didn't look inspired at all. Some of the true freshmen looked like they were pretty excited. Toa Toa had a great game. I will say that. There were two freshmen that really stood out to me. Toa Toa and Eric Gray had three players had good games today, in my opinion. Two of them were true freshmen. Henry Toa Toa had a great game. Pretty sure he led the team in tacklers. Eric Gray, every time he touched the ball, pretty much something good happened. And Juwan Jennings had a great game today, too. But those are some of the few positives we can take out of today. Another thing is the players just didn't look prepared. Even Darrell Taylor even said that. He said in the postgame, they threw some stuff at us we didn't see coming. We were not prepared enough for this game. We didn't watch enough film. We just were not prepared enough for this game. Darrell Taylor even said that in the postgame. This still just doesn't seem real. This whole thing, I keep seeing the score, and it just does not seem real to me that we actually lost this game. It's like what Catfish said in his video earlier today, that he had to say to Billy a couple times, did we really just lose this game? We actually lost this game, didn't we? So it still doesn't seem real. It really doesn't. It really sucks. It really sucks right now. But what can you do? Life goes on. One thing that I did appreciate just a little bit, is that the players and the coaches all took full responsibility for it. You know, they were men about it. They were like, hey, they played better than us. You know, that was our fault. I mean, not that it was anyone else's fault, but that, you know what I mean, though. Like, they didn't make excuses. They just said, hey, we got beat. You know, there's nothing we can do about it now. We're just going to move on. You know, it was a lot of that stuff. Even Pruitt was all like, you know, we just got to coach them better. And hopefully they will. Because, honestly, I've been watching Tennessee. This is my 10th year of Tennessee football this year. That is the worst loss I've ever seen in my whole time of watching Tennessee football. Terrible. It's just, it's unreal to me that this. I was actually a year short of that Wyoming loss in 2008 because I started watching in 2009 when I was at 5. So I was a year lost to the Wyoming loss in 2008, but this is by far one of the worst days in program history, in my opinion, considering everyone was excited for this year. You know, 8-4, 9-3, 7-5. Everyone was saying about that. And then we go out and lose to Georgia State, a team that was 2-10 a year ago, and that was picked to finish dead last in the Sun Belt. So, yeah, I mean, the players and coaches, they were men about it. They were like, hey, they went out and they beat us. And it's just that simple. So that I did appreciate, that they at least didn't make excuses. They were just like, hey, they beat us, you know. We got outplayed, and we did. The entire game, they outplayed us. No question about it. And one thing I'll talk about when I got worried real quick. This isn't in my notes. This is kind of off track. I actually wasn't worried after that, the interception and then they scored. I actually wasn't worried yet because I just kind of took some. I was like, okay, we just got some first game jitters. Moment I got worried is when they drove down the field near the end of the first half and tied it up at 14-all. I was like, we're in trouble here. As soon as that happened, I was like, we are in trouble. I still thought we were in trouble even after we got that field goal, especially because Georgia State got the ball to start the second half. Sean Elliott, you know, Georgia State's coach, he knew what he was doing, you know. Kind of a revenge game for him, considering he almost came into Knoxville when he was South Carolina's interim in 2015. Almost got it done. Was a fumble away from upsetting us then. And, you know, he got some revenge this year. He was on Appalachian State staff and what most people consider the biggest upset in college football history. When they went to the Big House and upset Michigan. So he knows how to win games like this. But probably the worst part about this game is what Uncle Lou said. You know, Appalachian, if you want to compare it to that, Appalachian State was a good team that year that they beat Michigan. Georgia State's not a good team. They were the better team today, but they are not a good team. I'm sorry. That is just my opinion. They are not a good team. They were the better team today, but they are not a good team. I'm just disgusted right now. I'm not as mad as I was earlier, but I'm still upset. You know, it doesn't get any easier now. We got to play BYU. All we can hope for is that we turn it around next week and somehow try to pull out a victory. At this rate, I'm just going to be happy if we make a bowl game. But yes, I'm still going to support them. I'm actually going to be making a video about the Blackman-Ravenwood game probably tomorrow. I might do it tonight. I'll probably just do it tomorrow, though, because I've uploaded like 3 videos today. So, yeah, be looking out for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this crow / review out of me. I guess I'll call it a crow. Congrats to Georgia State. You were the better team today, clearly. You deserve to win. You know, it's a program-defining win for y'all. I'm sure, you know. Also, shout out to Middle Tennessee, my hometown team, covering tonight against Michigan. Sorry, I had to get a little Murfreesboro plug in there. But congrats to Georgia State. It still pains me to say it, but go Vols, I guess. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Hope you guys enjoyed it.